Welcome to this explainer. Okay, if you've ever found yourself staring into the back of your car at midnight before a big event, frantically trying to cram just one more bin of inventory inside, well, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're going to completely transform your approach to maker market inventory. We're taking the whole thing from a stressful, space-hogging guessing game right into a streamlined, data-driven science. Let's get into it.
All right, let's kick this off with a pretty crucial question. And I want you to answer this honestly. When you load up your vehicle, are you packing for panic or are you packing for sales? Seriously, think about it for a second. Are you hauling an unlimited amount of backstock purely out of that terrifying fear of selling out of something? Or are you packing a specific, highly calculated amount of product designed to hit your actual sales potential?
To get us to that calculated state, here is our roadmap for today. We'll start by learning to stop packing in panic. Then, we'll introduce the M&M refill strategy, look at how to start with sales data, break down the refill pack method, and finally, shift our mindset to prediction over panic.
So, Section 1. Stop packing in panic and the trap of unlimited backstock.
Listen, we need a massive paradigm shift here. The old panic-driven goal was trying to bring equal amounts of literally every single item you make. Why? Well, mostly just because it felt safe, right? But your new goal is totally different. You want to bring the exact right mix of products packed into the absolute smallest practical storage space. Space is prime real estate at a pop-up. You simply can't bring unlimited backstock, so we've got to completely ditch the idea of equal representation in our bins.
Because, there is a very real physical toll to all those extra totes. It's not just playing a frustrating game of vehicle Tetris on a Friday night. It creates this cramped, claustrophobic booth environment, it drastically inflates your setup and teardown time, and it totally drains your staff's focus while they're hunting through endless bins. Seriously, packing for panic actually makes it so much harder to run a smooth, profitable booth.
Moving right along to Section 2, the M&M refill strategy, density over display.
Okay, I want you to think of assorted M&M refill packs. If you needed to refill a candy bowl, you wouldn't haul around a massive separate tote just for red M&Ms and then another giant tote for blue, another for green. You get the idea. That would be wildly inefficient. Instead, you'd create a dense, compact mix of all the colors in one bag. The exact same idea applies to your market inventory. Instead of dragging a separate, bulky tote for every single color, character, or variation you sell, you create compact refill packs. So say you sell sculpted dragons. A custom dragon refill pack would contain a carefully planned mix of your most popular colors and sizes in one single bin, rather than giving every single color its own dedicated, mostly empty bin. You pack the mix you're statistically most likely to need.
But how do we know exactly what goes into that perfect mix? That brings us to Section 3. Start with sales data. We have to look backward to move forward.
Let's put some numbers to this. If your sales history shows a specific product usually sells about 20 units at a typical 6-hour event, you now have a rock-solid baseline. Bringing 100 units of that product isn't being prepared, it's honestly just wasting valuable space. Instead, bringing, say, 25 to 35 units gives you the 20 you expect to sell, plus a perfectly smart, reasonable safety margin. You really don't have to be afraid of underpacking when you're relying on actual facts instead of fear.
You can't just guess here. You really need to act like a detective with your past data. Interrogate your past events. Figure out which categories sold the absolute fastest, which specific colors moved consistently all day long. You got to hunt down what sold out early and desperately needed refills. And critically, this is a big one, you need to ruthlessly identify what took up precious booth space but barely sold at all. Always contextualize this data with the length of the event and the crowd size. Do that, and you'll have the ultimate blueprint for your future packing.
All right, with our data gathered and our blueprint in hand, let's hit Section 4, the refill pack method. This is your 5-step playbook.
This is where we put the whole shebang into practice. Step 1. Decide exactly how much product you need just to build a full, inviting display on your tables. Step 2. Use your sales history to estimate your expected sales, making sure to factor in the event length and the audience. Step 3. Once you have that target number, add a conservative safety margin so you're totally covered for a stronger than normal event. Step 4. Combine that backstock strictly into those assorted refill packs we talked about earlier. Remember, pack by selling need, not just by SKU or color. And finally, Step 5, once the event is in the books, rigorously track what actually happens so you can iterate and improve for your next run.
All of this builds up to our final mindset shift. Section 5, Prediction over Panic, the new paradigm.
The golden rule of this entire system is treating your spaces differently, simply because they have entirely different jobs. Your display space has one primary goal: to hold enough product to look full, inviting, and to drive sales. But your backstock space? Totally different job. It must be incredibly dense, highly efficient, and driven purely by data. Please, do not confuse the two. You don't need your backstock to look pretty or be perfectly color-coordinated. You just need it to be a dense, efficient engine for refilling the display.
Because ultimately, packing should become a prediction problem, not a panic problem. The better your data gets, the less you have to guess. By diligently tracking what actually sells, estimating based on your history, and combining your backstock efficiently, you completely remove the emotion and the fear from loading your vehicle.
So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to ponder as we wrap up today's explainer. Looking at your own sales data right now, how are you going to predict and perfect your packing for your next big event? It's time to stop letting panic dictate your cargo space and start letting data drive your sales. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy predicting!